Alright, so welcome back to another Django tutorial. This is Django tutorial number 3. So, before we begin, I just want to say thank you for people commenting below to let me know the video has some problem. To be honest, I don't actually watch the video after I publish it, so I didn't know it have some problem with recording, so now I'm trying to use OBS to record. Hopefully it won't have other recording issue. Thanks for people who tell me in the comment below. Now let's go ahead and get started with our tutorial today. So we're going to keep going with our Django tutorial. And then today we're going to start to talk about models. Let's start to talk about models. So to do that, we're actually going to create a new app. So recall to create a new app, you're going to type Python 3 manage.py create a start app and your app name. This app name, I'm just going to call this books. This is where we will create a little mini web application about books. And then let's go ahead and wait just a sec. And now it's finished, so I'm just gonna click on this little refresh button, and now indeed we saw this books. Okay, so let me go ahead and take a look. Alright, so now let's just do a quick recap as always, so we can just know where we have been. And then if you haven't watched the previous two tutorials, I highly recommend you to watch them because it's kind of built onto each other. So now we know how to create some basic forms, but how do we actually store the information? For example, let's say we want to create a mini library application where just a book browsing rather than a library, where we could include the author and their corresponding book. We will need to store the information. So we will need to store that into our database. So let me just rephrase it better. So we need to store the books information into our database. Recall that in Flask, we need to manually create a table in SQL. And then either you're using native SQL commands or ORM or just SQL browser. But we don't have to do that in Django. So today, let's take a look at models.py and how can we create models in Django. Just a quick warning, and then this video do have a little bit prerequisite to be able to follow along this block and this video. Please make sure you have some basic SQL knowledge. Yeah, so SQL knowledge is highly recommended. I didn't talk about that. I have 2 tutorials on SQL, but I also recommend you have some foreign key, although I will talk about foreign keys also. So now let's go ahead and open up our models.py in our books. This is the models. And I will make this a little bit bigger as well. Okay, so now you can see this is a place where we can create our model. So what we could do now, it's just like how we create form, a Django form. What we'll do is we'll first create a class, and then we'll go ahead and put our table name there. So what will be our table name? Well, we first need to create a book. Since it's about book, let's just call this book. And then this is gonna extend the class from this model, so it's called models.model. This is what the class will inherit. And then here we're just gonna say pass for now. And alright. So actually before I start, let me just go ahead and register the necessary information here. So you don't have to do that. And here URLs, I'm just going to say pass books include books.urls, and then I cannot spell books correctly. Alright, and now in the settings up high, let me make sure we install the app that we created. So in here, we're gonna add forms, not forms, books. Alright, done. Now let's go ahead and our model. In here, in our books, let's go and create a URL style. This is what we needed anyway. And now we'll say from Django.urls import pass. And then we can say from .import views URL patterns is equal to pass. Actually, we're not gonna worry about this just yet. Import. We're not gonna worry about this just yet. Alright, so now we get everything set up. Now let's go ahead and keep creating our models. So, what will our models be? Well, think about a book. The minimum book we're gonna keep track is the author information, what's the title of the book, and the ISBN of the book. So, these three are all just going to be the character field. And then what we could say now is we're going to say author equals models dot char field, which have a max length of 255. So recall that char field is also a field that we can use when creating a Django form. Now I'm going to use this in our model. And then what we can also create is ISBN number, which in this case is just going to be a string. Models.char field max length is going to be 13, as this is our standard ISBN as of currently. They used to be 10 before 2006, I guess, 2007, but now it's that. And now we're going to create our title. So title. Oh god, why is in the parentheses? Title equals not minus equal to models dot char field, and then we're just gonna say max length is 100. Let's just assume. So what happened to max length is you can also substitute other optional arguments, but max length is the some like required argument you must specify when you create a char field, I guess. So max length is 255. It's pretty like straightforward to understand. It's like the maximum length you can get is 255. So it's like a varchar in SQL with value of 255. And then I'm just gonna assume no author's name is longer than 255. ISBN number no longer is 13, and the title is no longer than 100 character. Although some of be maybe invalid assumption though, but that we're going to try to keep use. Alright. So now we create our models. But recall that in SQL you need to some way to actually commit the change. Because how suppose Django know to commit to this SQLite file, SQLite 3 database. So don't worry if you didn't get this file immediately. This will be created after you run this command. So you're gonna run this command: Python 3 manage.py make migrations. Make migrations, and then we can type enter here. And then let's give a sec for it to run. My computer is really laggy for some reason. Is that because I opened so many stuff? I don't know. Alright, so now you can see it's have an output saying migration for books slash migration slash 0001 underscore initials.py create models book. So now If you are wondering, where is this initial.py? You can actually click on the link. I'm just going to follow the link. And then what you will see, it's also in migrations folder in your current app. You will see from Django, import migrations and models. And you can see it's a migration. And then you can see initial is true, dependency, no dependency. And then you can see operation. So what's happening here, this is how Django actually understands how can I create a SQL table. So the SQL table's name is called book. I have 4 fields. But wait, isn't it 3 fields? Yeah, we define 3 fields as you can see, author, ISBN, title. But it also automatically create a primary key. As Django knows that, okay, primary key is just so basic that basically every table has one. So we'll use, in fact, if not always, usually a table always have an primary key. So this is what happening underneath the hood after you run this migration. This file get created and get updated to our database. You can open up your database, open the database if you want to, but we're not going to do that. So now we actually didn't finish yet because we need to go ahead and apply the migration, because this is just like execute the stuff. We didn't actually commit the change. So we can say Python 3 manage.py migrate. This will actually commit the change. Migrate. This will actually commit the change to the database. And let's take a look. It's going to be a while. Thank you for waiting patiently. Feel free to skip if you want to. Alright, so now you can start to see some output. You can see there's a bunch of sort of like a test. And you can see each one has an OK after it. And then notice that we don't really care about stuff that is below this. I don't care about stuff above this. But notice that the last 2 lines here said applying books. 0001 initial, okay. Applying sessions, 001 initial, okay. By the way, if you're hearing some sound, it's because my mom is playing her song. I actually asked my mom to play, since my mom is a professional musician, I asked my mom to play the Papers, Please, the same song, because I want to create a Papers, Please remaking Pi game, so stay tuned for that. Alright, back to what are we talking about here. Now create a book. So, now we actually finished. But how do we actually create a book? Well, to make it simple, we're actually going to use shell. So, recall that when you're first learning Python, you probably know IPython. So, I believe IPython is pre-installed with Python. It's similar to idle, or IDLE, also come with Python. But this is an interactive environment with Python, which supported much more output. So as you can see, it has coloring, and then when I say hi, it's gonna say hi, and then it can produce much more beautiful charts when you are using Matplotlib. We're gonna talk about that later. And then now what we can do is start a new Django shell using Python 3 manage.py shell. And now let's go ahead and wait a sec. So a new shell can be created, and then we can start to add some, add our first book to our book model. Okay. All right. So now you can see it's really similar to interactive Python model, but this is like have some Django purpose with it. So first what we'll say is from books.models import book. So this basically what's happening is I'm importing the book class from the models.py in the books app. And then I can create a new book instance using book equals book And then what I can specify here is the author. So I'm gonna type, I actually have a book prepped. So I'm just gonna copy the name. Okay, well, that's not what I intend to do. Okay, that's a big mistake. I'm just gonna abort this. Okay, so excuse me on that. I don't know why that happened. Author equal to, I actually have a real book prepped. So Suzanne Collins. You guys should have heard of her before. ISBN 97804 3902 3481. You can count is a 13 digit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Exactly 13 digits. And then now we can specify the title, which hopefully you guessed it. One of the most famous book, The Hunger Games. And then you can press enter. So this just create a new book instance, but we didn't actually save to a database. Remember, we always need to commit in some sort. So since we extend these models, it's inherit another method called book.save. So now we're going to save our book. And now if we want to see all the books that's already in the database, what we can do is using book.object.all. And then let's go ahead, wait a sec. Oops, should be books.objects, not object. And now what you see is an output. It's a query set. It's just a set, just a query. That means we selected, it's just a query made by Django. And then you can see it's a book object with ID 1. You probably want to make this a little bit better to look at. So what we can do is we can create a stir property. So you can say define stir, taking self. And then what we can do is probably print out something like probably return a string. But we will not worry about that just yet because that's not our main purpose. You could create a stir to make this look good. But now what we want to realize is also can write lots of bugs. Like we know Suzanne Collins also wrote the Mockingjay and the Catching Fire. And then what we want to do is not to type this anytime, but to actually inherit another key, which now we are going to introduce you to foreign keys. So foreign keys is also exists in SQL, which inherit a row from a row. So we use a row's information. So what we could do now is instead of just telling which author it is, we can create a model called author, still inherit from the model, and then what we can say is this just really only have one name, models.char field, max length is 255. Okay, so now what we could do is like just say Python 3 manage.py, make migrations. So since we create a new model, actually no, we're not gonna do that just yet. So sorry about that. So now we create a new table called authors, right? New model. But what we want to do is now, instead of char field, what we're going to specify is, let me go ahead and change this. We're going to specify what we call a foreign key. And then in here, we're going to say is we're going to use authors information, authors model. And then on delete, If I can type on delete equals models.cascade. I'm going to explain this in just a little bit. Not cascade, cascade. And then what we'll do is we're also going to say related name equals books. So what's happening here is as we use to parameter, on delete is a way to tell Django what should happen. What should happen if the author, this author get deleted. So what if I don't have Suzanne and Collins anymore in our database? What if but we still have the Hunger Games? What if we don't have J.K. Rowling anymore, but we have the Harry Potter in our database? So what we need to do now is this specifies that if this author deleted, also delete the corresponding book. You also have can specify other type like protect for if you don't, you won't if an author is associated with one book or more, you don't want to able to delete that author. And then related name is the way just to display how do you want the information to get displayed when you join two classes together. Now if we go ahead and make migration again. So we use a foreign key to associate book's author role with author's table. And then let's make migrations. Sorry, I'm not the best explainer in the world, but now what you see is to field, create models author, alter field author on book. And then if we go ahead and migrate, this is going to take a while. Alright, so now it's applying migration. Whoops. It said the row in books have a primary key 1 has not valid primary key. Okay, so what's happening here is we need to delete the book first. And then I actually don't know how to delete a book. I really don't know how to delete a book, to be honest, but so now we'll let me just double check. You know what? Oh, we'll just do it in the hard way. I should probably put that out earlier. I'm just gonna remove this file at once. I'm not sure is that safe to do, but yeah, move to trash. And now if you try to migrate again, it should work. If it does, I'm just gonna create a sequelizer field. Alright, looks good. Apply all migrations. Alright, looks good. So now we applied all of that. So now if you refresh, what we should see is a db.sequelizer recreated for us. So now what we can do is open up a shell. I will talk about delete all these methods when we're actually dealing with a real project, which we will do. It's another website clone. I want to keep it secret for now. But this project is kind of big, so that's why I choose Django. Django's really good for big projects. So now start shell again. If the shell can ever get started, I don't know why my computer is so slow. Alright, so what I could say now is from dot models import author and book. Whoops, not dot models. It shouldn't get imported. It's from book, from books dot models. And then now what we could do is create first author first. So we can say a C for Susanna Collin. So we can say author, say name, go to Sue. Okay. If I could know how to spell her name. So what we could say now is Susanna Collin. By the way, if you guys have any project idea you want me to do, feel free to comment below. And then now, say essay.save. Alright, and then we'll say now is go ahead and create a book class. So we're going to create a new book. And now this time, instead of just, we're going to associate author with this as C object we created. And then SBN is 978 0439. I don't want to try to type this number. 023 481. And now in title we can just say the Hunger Games. See if I can put it in the Hunger Games. Now if I enter, I say book.save. And now if I try to execute the select also book.objects.all, what we could do is we can see a query set with books object 1. And then if we, yeah, I think. So this is how we can use shell for some our purpose. But now, and then, by the way, this is called many-to-many relationship, I believe, with the foreign key. So now what we'll talk about, we have two more things to talk about is how can we create a simple web application with this. So now what we'll go ahead and do is in our views.py, we're actually going to create something interesting now. So in views.py, what we could say is, let's go ahead and first is import all the models. So say from dot models import book, or just need book, and then what we could do is we could define index request, and then here what I could say is return render request, and then I can put the value here, so template, so we can say books slash index.html. Okay, not mdex but index. Okay, and then here we're gonna provide a context of value, so we're just gonna say books is books dot object dot objects. Oh, I misspelled so many stuff. Alright, now what we can do is let's go ahead and create templates in books, and then we're gonna call this templates books index books index channel. Okay, I don't want it. Okay, I don't think I should create the file, but index.html. Then to make things faster, since we already ran out of time, I'm just gonna use emit. Okay, well, if emit works, but yeah, it doesn't work. You know what? I'm just gonna type HTML. HTML. Nothing works now. I don't know why. Head. Okay, at least the autocomplete still work. Body. And now in body, what we will say is we'll create a for loop in Django's templating language, and then we'll say for book in books. And then we're going to specify n for here. And then here, we're going to create UL for unordered list. And I'm just going to display the unordered list of all the books that is already within our database. And now what I could say is I could go ahead and add an li and say something like book.title written by book dot. I'm not going to display the SBN information. Books dot book author dot name. I hope that works. And then now if I go and say Python 3 manage.py run server, and what I will do now is go and wait this server to get started. I don't know why everything's so slow today. Alright, there we go. So let me just get this thing ready. Alright, good. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Alright, so I'm going to go to /books. Wait, oh god, I forgot to associate with this. Actually, yeah, never mind. I forgot one more thing. So what we need to do is actually associate that with URLs. .py in books. So what we can say in here, and then just gonna say pass. Let's just make this books. All the books available, and then we can say views.index name equals books. Okay, I made tons of spelling mistake. Views.index. Alright, so now if we go wait a sec to let this run again. And go ahead and show it immediately. once we finish that. Okay, let me go here. By the way, if you want to navigate to Django's URL, you need to make sure that you have a trolling like slash / after the URL. And then let's go ahead, give it a sec, and now here's what you should see. If I will show this, and now here's what you see: The Hunger Games, written by Suzanne Collins. This is like the simplest way to display this. And we actually have a last thing we need to do is we'll talk about Django admin. So let's say you want to make modification. Recall that, yeah, when we create like bit.ly clone, you can make edits to the URLs. For Django's, it's way easier to do that. In fact, we don't even need to write more than 3 lines of code, I guess. Oh my god, it's already 40 minutes. So now if you go to admin.py here, and now we'll go ahead and register a few things. I just want to finish this up and then. So we can say from .models import from .models import author and book. And then in here, what I will say is register a model here. So we need to go and register the 2 models. And then I hope it works. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, sorry guys for actually talking, but this model thing is, you need to really remember this. So admin.site.register, we can say let's register author, and then admin.site.register book. So what's happening here is we're registering 2 models so we can actually view them. And then now what we'll do is we'll go and create a new terminal. And then first we need to create a new account. And this will enable us to do that, to visit the admin page. So the admin page, by the way, if you haven't noticed, is created by default. And then if I couldn't create a new terminal. Alright, so now what we'll go ahead and do is I will go ahead and type. Let's go wait a sec. We're almost there. So most of the time it's waiting to it to get to work, but I don't want to cut this part out because I want to let you know what the actual speed is. Other speed will be much faster, but whoops. Alright, so here we'll say we're just gonna hurry this up. Python stream manage.py create super user, and then this will happen is this will create a user that will have all the right include to access it to admin page. So normal user, when we talk about user authentication in the next tutorial, which should be released tomorrow, will have no access to this page unless you grant them permission to do that. And then now I'm just gonna type username, that is me. Pass email address, someone at example.com. Password. The password is too common. Seriously. Yes. Yeah, I use password as my password, by the way. Yeah. I didn't know that Django is not smart. And then now what we could do is in our browser, what we could do now is go ahead and go to /admin. So /admin. And then you can see it will prompt you to log in once you are on that site. And I'm just gonna fill out my username and password. That is me. Oh my god, could you please be a little bit faster? That is me. Password is password. And then if I click login, I hope I did it correctly. And now what you will see is Django's admin page, which you could in here see books. Didn't I register author? I don't know. But yeah, so this is Django's admin page. I'm actually gonna, so in here you can see authors and books in Books app. And then we'll talk more on Django's admin in the next video. And then we'll talk about user authentication also, which will talk about sessions. I guess that will be the last tutorial before the actual project. Sorry for making this video too long, sorry for 2 minutes now. Hope you enjoy it. If you enjoy it, please do consider like and subscribe to my channel. It's a real help a lot. I have 15 subscribers now, yay! Alright, anyway, thanks for watching. Please take care of yourself and each other during this unprecedented time. And thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you in the next video.